Let's go. New year, new me, turn it up a new degree. I'm gonna make it to the top if it's the last thing I see. Work hard every day, work hard, then we play.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Big Yogi'Z Garage. Today I got Beezy. He's back.
What's going on, man?
Yep.
Happy to be back. Thank
Yep.
you for having me.
Thank you for coming. This is the second time that you was on. Last time you came on, we were talking about like your story and all that kind of stuff, and it was like right when you started your journey onto the what is it called? That wholesaling.
Yep. So we have a company, DR3 Realty. We started that December 20th, and we had our first interview December 24th. So it's a little shy of a year.
Yeah. So a little bit over a year. So you've learned. So at that point, you kind of was just getting into it. But now you've actually been into it for a while. So can you tell me a little bit about like what you've? Well, actually, no, not the whole thing. Tell me a little bit about like how. I want to know. Okay, there's steps to it, right? I can't just ask you like, tell me a little bit about the whole thing. I want to know like, how did you get good at calling people and stuff like that? Tell me a little bit about that part.
Okay, yeah. So when it comes to how I got good at calling people, it simply boiled down to me just being on the phone and practicing, having more conversations with people, just going out like to randoms on the street and just practicing conversation, whatever mood they in, whatever, like however they feel, just trying to have a conversation with them in that state. And just through repetition and just constantly trying to have these conversations, I just became a natural conversationalist. And you know, that I transferred that into my work and was just able to pick up the phones and really be able to connect with anybody over the phone.
Yeah, because I've watched. Okay, so I follow your TikTok, and I watched the videos and how you conversate with people on the phone and stuff like that. And I noticed what you said. Like you go into exactly how they come at you. If they're like in a kind of like agitated, you just kind of like just go with the flow.
Oh yeah.
You don't try to get like into like conflict in the conversation.
Oh, so you know, while it is real instinctual and real just on the spot, there is processes in place that I do take when I'm on the phone. So a certain tactic I use is called matching and mirroring. So when I'm on the phone and somebody gets on the phone, hey, how's it going? Or, oh, what do you want? Da da da. So they're coming at me really aggressive, really loud. That doesn't mean that they're not a customer. That doesn't mean that they're not interested. That's just their demeanor. That's them as a person. So when I match and mirror them, I'm matching that energy. I'm mirroring that energy. So what do you want? Hey, oh, how's it going? My name is Bryson. I'm with DR3 Realty. Quick second, I'm not going to take too much of your time. Okay, what do you want? All right, look, so I'll be real quick. You know, just match that. And so when people do business with people more like them, they feel more comfortable.
Yeah, that's pretty good advice. Hey, so how do you even, okay, so another thing that I've always wondered when I watch your videos and you'll say like, hey, Sue, this is Bryson. I just want to get you, how do you know Sue has a house for sale? How do you figure that out?
Yep. So we got a couple of different marketing channels when it comes to our business, and it's just part of the whole wholesaling process, and we'll get to that later. But when it comes to how we know that she's a homeowner, there's multiple ways to find out. So one tactic that we use is called driving for dollars. We'll have some of our guys go out and drive and look for, distressed properties or properties that we might want to invest in, and take their addresses down. And once we have their address, we're able to skip trace those addresses and get names and numbers. So we'll put it into a database, skip trace those, and get a name and a number back for that address, and give them a call and just see if they're interested. Yeah,
because like right now, I just seen today that the Toledo market is like #1 market, and it was like on realtor.com. I seen a couple of realtors say that in 2024, the Toledo real estate market is #1. That's pretty good.
So when it comes to Toledo, what people don't really understand is that Toledo is a cash cow. Toledo, you can make so much money when it comes to real estate. So to put things into perspective, you can be in New York, and there can be a 3-1 bedroom house out there that you have to spend at least $150,000 to $200,000 to buy. And then even then, you're only going to be able to charge $1,000 in rent. And that's in New York. Now, if you take a plane over to Toledo, you can get a house over here on the east side for, we just got one on Clark Street for $35,000. and that can easily rent out. It's fully furnished. I mean, not fully furnished, I'm sorry. It's fully renovated, it's turnkey, and we can easily get $1,000 a month in that. And that's 35,000 compared to 200,000 easy in New York.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like the real estate market for housing is really up right now, right?
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, it does differ, but it's on the uptrend.
Yeah, I mean, especially for renters, like when you rent, like everybody, everybody I know is paying 1,000, 1,200, 1,600.
Listen, you're not gonna find, that's another thing about Toledo. You really can't, unless it's like a duplex or like a triplex or something, and you're buying a unit, you really can't charge less than $1,000 for rent, and it's gonna be hard to not find anybody at least 900. So it's like the rent market. That's why people buy here, because you can buy for cheap and rent for high, and it just makes sense.
Yeah, you buy the house. Maybe some of them need a little bit of work.
Yeah,
you put the work in, or you can just flip it without even work putting. Right? Tell me a little bit about that. Some of them you just like. You can acquire them on the phone and then flip them. Tell me, because I seen a video you said some people can do this at home.
Oh yeah, so that I mean, this is all, it's low key all virtual, honestly, until I meet with the seller or a buyer and have a conversation face to face. But when it comes to flips and stuff, we have something in 43615, which is kind of like by the Rogers High School area. It's on Pressler, and that's more of a flip. I mean, it has a beautiful, almost 100-yard backyard, like looks like a football field back there. But it does need some work. It needs upstairs electrical done. It's in the middle. It's in the process of being flipped. It's kind of like a halfway done job. It's almost livable, but you know, it just needs a little bit of TLC. But so that deal that we got, that was a deal that we pulled a list where we went to this database and just was like, we want to get a list of all the absentee houses that are vacant in Toledo. And we got that list. We called him and asked if he was interested, and you know, that's when we uncovered the motivation, because he told us why he was interested. His mom had health problems, so we were able to you know, recognize the situation, you know, provide him with the cash offer, tap into our network of buyers who are buying consistently in Toledo. And we found somebody who was willing to take this property on, and we're in the process of getting that one closed right now.
Okay. So like, so that you have a network, you said, okay, so some of them you buy them and then just sell them and then make a profit, right?
Right.
So okay, but not every single one. Sometimes you guys keep some and rent them out, right?
Yep. So it's all. So whenever a seller asks me that question, this is the way I explain it. It's really all about exit strategy. So we have 3 main exit strategies that we'll go. So we'll either fix and flip a property, get a property for cheap at a discount, put some money into it, and sell it at top dollar. We'll add a property to our portfolio. So we got 13 units in Toledo that we manage ourselves, that we get that, and they're fully occupied, so we get rent roll from that every month, and that's just passive income. We'll add that to our portfolio. And third, we do have that network of almost 200 cash buyers in Toledo that will connect these deals to, and we'll get paid a assignment fee or a finder's fee for finding these deals for them. And that's just our exit strategy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So all 3 of those could work perfect for. It depends on the whole situation.
Yeah, it depends on
every
the situation.
Situation is a different one, but you got 3 different strategies to go.
Yeah, every deal is different. So the way that we break it up with our company, at least, it's kind of broken up into an A side and a B side. So acquisitions, I'm the lead acquisition manager. I'm all about calling, talking to people, getting these properties under contract, talking to the sellers, uncovering that motivation and seeing really why they want to sell and how we can help them. And then we have a disposition manager and a disposition team that focuses on connecting with buyers and, you know, establishing those relationships and finding out what their buying criteria is and what their investment strategy is, and trying to find those deals out in Toledo that make sense to them so that everybody is in a win-win situation.
Yeah, I kind of seen that. When last time I met you, we met through Jacob Conine. I used to rent his office. My podcast was in his office. That's the last time we did it. And I met you through him. And it was like, at first, it was just, I think he was like mentoring you, but now there's a third person. Tell me a little bit about, or you know what I mean? I don't know. There's a new guy that I've seen on your TikTok. So you mentor him. He mentored. What's going on with that?
So the way that it really started is Jacob. So when I said our disposition manager, he wears that hat as well.
Yeah.
He's the one that's connecting with the buyers and really choosing how we exit these deals. But you know, that was my mentor. He still is my mentor.
Of course, yes.
He's teaching me the game every day, and he's put me in a position to where I can take what I've learned from him and pour into others. So we just hired actually 2 new people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So we have Nick, and that's somebody that he met. Nick works at the dispensary, King of Buds in Monroe. He's a bud tender. You know, natural salesman, just natural sales skills and personable. And then we also have DeJuan Hood. He was is one of my best friends that I grew up with. You know, we done been through everything under the moon and back. And so, you know, I was able to bring him in, and he just comes with a different kind of charisma, and he just has a go ready attitude, and really ready to learn how to change up his hustle. So
man, that's awesome. So you guys are really building a really strong team over there to hit the streets and acquire some property, and like and for you, like it's really like I'm really proud of you, man, because like from the person that I met. Because when I first met you, you were ready. I could see it in you. You're gonna get at it. You know what I'm saying? But you had told me about your past and where you came from. Because that was the last podcast. And to see where you're at right now, man, I'm really proud of you. And not only that, but you're giving back. Because you actually made a TikTok, and you actually put things online, and you try to pay your knowledge forward. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So you know, I feel like everything I do is, in one way, shape, or form, a way to give back to somebody. I think when I just look back at, you know, almost every job I had, except for the first one, which was Marco's, you know, every job was, you know, centered around health and helping, and, you know, just, you know, adding support and value to other people. And I try and do that in everything I do. So when I first started my TikTok account, you know, I really just used that as a platform to document my experience. But as I seen the traction that I was starting to get, and people reaching out, asking me different questions, and, you know, seeing how powerful it was to have people who look, act, and talk like me reach out and really gain something, and really like understand, like, dang, I can do that too. You know, that just kind of sent me on a whole different rabbit hole, and really helped me understand that, like, I'm here to help these people understand that there's nothing stopping you from switching it up and getting everything you want, because it's the same hustle, it's the same work ethic, it's the same, you crying the same tears, you sweating the same sweat. It's just don't get good at life doing the wrong things.
Yeah, and then okay, so another thing I wanted to talk to you about. I remember like one time reading something on your Facebook about like I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but it was something sort of like, you know, like just like kind of like grind, like just in the background, like grind or something like that. Like maybe you were talking about like sometimes you can't just be out there sometimes, but like I don't remember the whole thing. But do you know what I'm talking about, or something like that?
What is it? Something I shared, or something?
Something
I wrote myself?
maybe you shared or you wrote. I don't know, but it was something like sometimes you got to become like a ghost and just like grind or something, or maybe it wasn't you, but
I mean, just on that topic alone, I seen something by Jim Carrey that was just like, if you can't take a year out of your life to just change everything and become the man you want to be, then you care about other people's opinions too much. Now. Like I said, I brought in one of my boys, somebody that, you know, I grew up with. We got years in this, and so when I first started this journey, it wasn't like, you know, I was calling them boys up every day, and you know, we was kicking. It was plenty times where I was just like, you know, I'm in the house, I'm in the office, I can't, you know, I'm not kicking it. But you know, some people, you know, took offense to that. Some people, you know, kept their distance. Some people respected that I was on a different kind of mission, and so. I feel like DeJuan respected it to the level that he wanted that for himself. You know, it kind of rubbed off on him. So when he seen me kind of get focused and get locked in, that kind of gave him that spark, and so that kind of manifested in itself. So
yeah, and then I believe in you grinding your ass off. Like you don't gotta like post everything or nothing, but I do believe in giving a little bit of your knowledge, not everything, because. Like there's gonna be a point where there's gonna be enough demand where people are gonna want to pay you for all your knowledge, and that's when you have to like, you know, charge for a sit down and stuff like that. But for right now, so you can build that. I believe, you don't gotta do like every little thing, post every little thing, but every once in a while, sit down, create yourself like a little area or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Or like this, at once a week, I sit down with somebody and I want to get my words out. I want somebody else to to be sitting here with me, but I want a conversation.
Oh,
and that's
sure.
why I told you that I'm not going to write things down no more.
Right.
Because I feel like a natural conversation is the best.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, like a lot of like when you're telling me something, I'm thinking about like the next question
Right.
and stuff like that. So I believe it's really important to just be natural,
It allows you to be present. Yeah.
present in a conversation. Because I really want to know where you've been this last year.
Yeah.
Because even though you've posted a few videos, I still didn't get 100% of the picture.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, what have you did? Like, is there any fun things you did? Did you go on vacation, or was it just straight work all year?
Yeah, no, I won't sit here and say that it was straight work all year. I mean, you know, I was working a lot. Like I said, so I do real estate. You know, I help with the real estate company and everything like that. But I also work under the mayor, Monty, the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement, as an in-school violence interrupter,
Wow,
and that does
that's
take up a chunk of my time as well. And so, you know, just when it comes to, you know, like the fun things, I do have a girlfriend. Her name's Amaya, and you know, she keeps me company. She kind of keeps things fun. You know, if she sees me working too hard, she knows how to kind of, you know, pull me away. But she also knows how to let me have my space to be able to, you know, build. And,
of course.
You know, she's a hustler herself. You know, she has her own business, Finer Things, and you know, that's an online store. And you know, just we have the same kind of mindset when it comes to business, when it comes to hustling. So she knows how to have fun and still keep that a priority. So I trust her to pull me away when I feel like I'm getting too deep into it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like you need that, bro. Like my wife said, it was like, me and my wife are doing social media together, but like we know when to like help each other, when to calm each other down. Like she listens to my podcast and she'll say, "You're saying this too much. Stop using that as a filler word." She tells me, like, she critiques me, but in a good way, because I want to become better. So it's beautiful to have that person, so we can have like I love family, man. So are you planning on having like a family and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know,
are you a family man?
I've always been good with kids. You know, I love the family that I do have, my immediate family, my mom, my little brothers. I am, you know, actively trying to get better at reaching out to them more often, when, you know, because it is easy to, especially now that I moved out from my mom's house and everything, you know, it is easy to separate and not keep in touch. But I'm trying to get better with that. But you know, I definitely do consider myself a family man. Definitely not anytime soon. I am 19 years old, so it's like, stay away from all the kids now. But you know, I definitely see myself having a kid, just in the fact, you know, I always wanted a little boy. You know, I would love a little girl, but just having somebody I could just pass down my knowledge to, and just my legacy, that would just be something that would mean the world to me. So it's definitely in the plan.
It's a beautiful thing, man. My kids are old, 18 and 21, but it's beautiful, man. So my wife works at H&M. So my wife is fashion. She's my stylist and stuff. You look nice, so she did a good job.
Honestly, I put this together, so even because she might not like it, because she got a very particular taste. So I did put this together. She did give me this shirt. She got you the some of the stuff. Yeah, so it's like,
you threw it together, but she got some of the stuff.
Yeah, and really just, she told me she liked that color with that color, and I just kind of freestyled from there. But you can't go wrong with black. So
of course, my wife is actually my stylist for the show, and she picks out my outfits like. So she's really like the one that picks my shit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because like she works at H&M for like, she's the manager there, and then she, you know, why? I don't need to do that. It makes it easier for me, you know.
Yeah.
You got your own business basically, right? Because you guys, you're the one hustling.
Me and Jacob started this together. We came together, started a vision for DR3. You know, we were coming back just from leaving a different organization that you know, I was working under him with, and he kind of put me on a level to where we can see eye to eye and really make decisions together when it comes to the business. And you know, he shows me that respect as a business owner. He wants to project that feeling of being a business owner and that experience into me. So I owe him the world for even inviting me into this world. And I don't plan on failing.
Yeah,
I don't plan on failing.
It's a beautiful thing what he's done for all of us. Like just for me too. Like I wouldn't be right here if it wasn't for him.
Right.
I mean, I would still have my podcast, but who knows? I could have been in another place.
Right.
I could still be renting hotels.
Yeah.
Who knows? He's the one that got me to, you know what I mean, renting me his office for cheap too, because it was cheaper for me than he was renting it to, you know, to everybody else. So, so the dude looked out for me all the time.
Love, man.
And then when I moved over here, like, I didn't even know about this spot, but one day, like, I moved over, like, I found out about this because it's right there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's right across
it's like right across the hall, and then I was like, shit. So, I mean.
Yep, if the audience didn't know, you know, we're neighbors now.
Yeah. We're neighbors, yeah. So he has an office right across from the studio. So we're right across the hall now. Yeah, that's dope, man. So how does it work? So the business and all that, you guys are basically like partners, because before you guys worked for somebody else, and now like you're working with them like side by side, or you guys have your own responsibilities though, right?
Yeah, that's how I see it. We really work side by side when it comes to these deals. We definitely do have individual responsibilities. That's kind of how the team works. And don't let me forget, we also have Bailey Kuzma. Miss Bailey, she handles all the dirty work. So, you know, we wouldn't be where we're at without her. And so, you know, all together, we're able to kind of really just handle our own individual responsibilities and, you know, create a healthy pathway of communication to where we're all in the loop about what's going on and, you know, create a structure and a business behind it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because a lot of times I didn't even know, like I would rent that place and I didn't even know what was going on. I was like, I know they're doing big things in here, because I know like you and Jacob, you guys have, you know, you guys are not, I didn't know like you guys were realtors. Jacob, he told me one day,
actually we're
not realtors.
Yeah, not realtors.
But that's what I'm saying. I didn't know if you guys were realtors. I didn't know what you guys did.
Yeah.
And then like, even when you told me like you guys are wholesalers and stuff, I still like didn't really like kind of like I really don't know. Can you explain to me like what a wholesaler is and all that?
To put a bow on really what we are, we're a real estate company. You know, we buy, sell, and manage properties. Wholesaling is a large part of our active income when it comes to making money in the business, but that, you know, that's not the only thing, because honestly, when it comes to our title, we're just real estate investors. But one of our outlets, one of our exit strategies that we talked about before is wholesaling. Now, when it comes to wholesaling, the best way I like to explain it is that there's an A side and a B side, and you're in the middle. So being a wholesaler is basically being a professional middleman when it comes to real estate transactions. So on the A side is acquisitions. That's what I specialize in. I'm the acquisition manager of DR3. And we focus on getting the properties under contract, building relationship with the sellers, and you know, just connecting and understanding their specific needs and what they're going through in their situation. Then on the B side, there's disposition. So now that you have it under contract, all that does is give you permission to market that property as if it was your own. So now on the B side, that's where Jacob picks up, and he's able to connect with the buyers, even himself be a buyer for some of these deals, and we're able to connect we're able to connect a motivated a motivated seller with a motivated buyer and get these deals closed. And the way that we make money is in the spread. So if I put numbers behind it, say there's a property that's worth $100,000. We get it under contract for 50. We find a buyer for 70, because that's $30,000 less than 100,000. We would make the $20,000 spread. So that's how we get paid.
Oh, okay. So basically, yeah, connecting somebody that really wants to sell it with someone that really wants to buy.
Absolutely.
And you're the one that has to find that perfect buyer and that perfect seller.
Yep. And you know, it's really hard in the beginning, but that's why it gets really easy. Or I won't say easy at all. I won't say easy, but it gets a lot easier when you have an established buyers list. Like I said, we have a buyers list of about 200 people with names, numbers, and buying criteria in Toledo, or I'll say Northwest Ohio, because we do dabble in Maumee as well, but that are looking to actively buy in Toledo. And so whenever we get a deal, we'll email blast that out to our buyers list. And you know, these buyers are interested in getting that because they know that they can make money off of these deals. So they're able to connect with us and get, you know, these deals that can make them so much money. So Actually, my first deal that I ever sold was on Hugo. And I closed my first 2 deals on the same day, but this was the first one that closed. So it was on Hugo, and it was probably for like $4,000 or $5,000. But the seller, we were trying to buy his daughter or his house that he had his daughter in next door. But he was like, no, we're getting old. We don't want this house no more. It's hard to move around. We want to move. So we got that property reasonably cheap. And we were able to find a buyer who got it tremendously cheap. So he ended up picking that one up for like $76,000. And then he just sold it on the market not even 2 months ago for $150,000.
Damn.
So we found that win-win situation. I just checked in on Bob. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say their names, but I mean, Bob is a good name. I just checked in on.
Well, Bob's the really common name. There's a million Bob.
Right. So I just checked in
Let's
on
not
Bob.
say his last name.
Yeah, and they're doing really good, you know. A lot of people think that wholesaling is taboo, like you're not allowed to let the sellers know. But one thing about DR3 is we're completely transparent. He asked me one day, you know, what's really the plan with this house, and I told him, you know, all the 3 exit strategies. But then I told him, you know, we're more than likely going to wholesale this house, and he wanted to make sure that everything was done right, and he actually valued the fact that he didn't have to sit there and deal with any realtors or any showings or have to schedule any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he was able to just put the ball in our hands, and we were able to sell his property, and he's doing good.
Yeah.
And and actually with him, the situation with the sellers, he wasn't able to find a house to rent afterwards. Like, he had a very specific criteria for where he wanted to live, a pretty big budget. He just didn't know where to look. So I actually spent a couple hours with him looking for houses, calling up realtors, calling up people on forrent.com and trying to get them a place, and they actually chose something from something we chose. So
you helped, you not only bought his house, but you helped him find a new place to rent?
Yeah, because when it comes to real estate, not even just real estate, but when it comes to DR3, our job isn't only buy, sell, and manage, but it's also to help, especially if we're going to choose the exit strategy of wholesaling. We understand that in that transaction, we're the middleman. So we need to meet the best interests of our seller and the best interests of our buyer. So that can look multiple different ways. If a buyer needs the property at a cheaper rate, okay, maybe money isn't the main thing that the seller is concerned about. Maybe they're willing to take a little bit less for their property if they can get out fast because their mom lives in Puerto Rico and they need to go help her. Like, there's all these different situations, and your job is just to simply listen and help. You add value to people, and that's how you make money.
Yeah. Because this guy might say, man, I need the money. My mom's in the hospital. I really need the money. And this person's like, man, I just need to like do something fast.
Right.
And then you can put them 2 people together. It's like the perfect situation.
Exactly. So that's why when you have more conversations and when you just add people to your network, just understand people's problems and really listen and digest that information, take notes, whatever you got to do. You're able to really make those connections. Like, okay, this one matches with this one. Let's make that happen, and that's how deals close. Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so I seen another TikTok about like I think it was like Nick calling like I see he was like saying to someone, I see that you buy a lot of houses in the 4 you know, in the 1-4 area code. I got one in the 1-5. How do you know how many people? Is that all public knowledge?
Yeah, it is all public now. Everything that we do, it's not like it's not like we're pulling any like secret list or anything. Everything is accessible. It's all records. So we have something called a deal machine where you can drive around and just find homeowners for and you know, switch around the criteria. So what he searched up was 43614 cash buyers. He got a whole list of those cash buyers. Skip trace those. Remember, you can skip trace those addresses and get the names and numbers and call them. And so we, like I said, we have a deal that's we're in the process of closing right now. That the one with the big backyard, that was a flip. He called them because he seen that they purchased their property for cash. And was like, okay, you purchased this property for cash right next door in the next area code. We have one, and that's again just trying to meet people where they're at and just see. You know, we're not in the business of making good deals. We're in the business of finding them. So the more conversations we have, it's all a numbers game. The more chances we have to find those perfect situations.
So okay, so what if somebody had the house and they wanted to talk to you? Like, do they reach out to you on is there a website or email or what is it?
Yeah, so there's multiple channels you can get to. Even get to have a conversation with me. I have 2 different Facebook accounts, both Bryson Davis. You'll see my face on it.
Yeah, Bryson.
Yeah, Bryson.
His real name is Bryson.
Yep.
We call him Beezy.
Yeah.
But Bryson Davis is your real.
Yep, BRYSEN. You can find me on Facebook and reach out to me. Then I'm checking those frequently. We also have a website, dr3realty.com, where if you're a cash buyer, you can input your buying criteria. If you like to submit an offer on a property that we do have available, you can submit your offer through the app. If you're looking to sell, you can also reach us through the app. So that could be a very vital source to even learn more about the company. And also, like I said, I have a TikTok. It's called the THE_juniorpreneur. And you can just reach me on there. You can comment. I'll try and reply to every comment. And there's, I'm an open book, so please don't feel intimidated to reach out at all.
Yeah, because it's good to let people a little bit know, because I mean, yeah, not everyone's gonna have the buyers and not everyone's gonna have, but maybe someone can start like cold calling and maybe they can get a couple sellers and then send them your way, and then you can find the buyer.
So there's actually so there's actually a process for that. It's actually called JV, which stands for joint venture. So JVs are pivotal for new wholesalers. If you're looking to get into the business, if you find something that's under contract, or if you can get something under contract, if you're really good at having those conversations, but you simply don't have the network to get these deals going, then you can reach out to me and we can schedule a JV, which is a joint venture. And all that means is we'll team up. You find the seller, I'll find the buyer. And people do that in real estate all the time. And that's how a lot of wholesalers close their first deal.
Of course, because an 18-year-old kid you were 18 and you had the network, but not every 18-year-old kid has the network to.
And trust me, the network has always expanded. So we started off with little as well. So my first deal I closed wasn't from my buyers list. That was from a Facebook marketplace ad. But the second one I closed was also not from my buyers list. Another wholesaler reached out to me, and that was a JV, and we made 7.5 on that one.
Okay, 7,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, and then a lot of it is just being able to relate with people. How do you find how do you find the conversation to actually buy? Tell me a little bit about that. Okay, you're gonna sell not sell me a house. Oh yeah, you want to buy my house, right?
All right.
Talk to me a little bit. How do you?
Okay, so we actually have a script. So when we got our new guys in, and even when I started, I was working off a script. But I had thousands of conversations, so I kind of remember it by script. But if you want to role play, we can.
Yeah, let's role play.
Yep, I'll go ahead and give you a call.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Is this Yogi?
Yeah.
Hey, Yogi, how's it going? This is Bryson from DR3 Realty.
Hey, Bryson, I really don't have too much time right now.
Listen, I know this call was pretty much out the blue. That's why I'm going to be really fast.
Yeah.
I know you don't have a lot of time. I was just calling to see if you were interested in selling this property that I believe you own on 123 Main Avenue.
Yeah, I own it, man. But what's up? Go ahead. Tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was just trying to reach out because we are interested in making an offer over there. We are working on something in a nearby zip code, and we kind of seen that one, and I figured I'd give a call. In order to kind of move forward, I would just have to understand the condition of what the property is in. Let me ask real quick, have you done any remodeling to the kitchen or bathrooms in the last 5 years?
No, man, this house has just been like the same forever.
Oh, for sure. And look, that's no problem at all. We're actually looking to add, to do tasteful remodels in the area. So if we have something that we can add a little bit of value to, that's perfect. So, typically we can close in about 30 days, 14 to 30 days. Is that something that you could work with, or would that be moving too fast?
Yeah, I would want it gone fast.
Absolutely.
Can you get me someone to buy it that fast?
Yeah, if it's not us, absolutely. Like I said, we have a network, so we could connect you with the network or buy it ourselves. We are end buyers ourselves. But, I always like to ask a seller when I'm talking to them, I called you out of the blue. I don't know why you want to sell. I just seen your hustle and figured I'd give you a call. But let me ask, why are you considering a sale, especially since you've never met me before?
Well, because you sound pretty professional, and not only that, but the house is kind of run down. I haven't put any money into it for a while. So if the price is right, the house is my mom's old house. I've been renting it out, and now I just want to kind of just get rid of it. I don't got the money to put into it. If I could get $50,000, I would get rid of it.
Absolutely. Look, so your price is at 50, and my job as an acquisition manager is to get you as close to your price while still making it a deal on our end. So what I want to do is I want to schedule an appointment just so we can come out, take a couple pictures, and then I'll run some comps, do my numbers on the area, and we'll reach out with an offer on our end. How does that sound?
Sounds great, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
All
Did I
right.
take too much time?
No, that's beautiful. See you
All right.
later.
Yep. Bye.
Right. That's great, man. Because even if you just be humble enough and say and explain to yourself, you can actually calm that guy down that
Absolutely,
said.
yeah.
Because even if I'm saying I'm in a hurry, but just your professionalism makes someone actually think about what you're saying.
The one thing that I focused on when I first got on the phone, it was really hard because I didn't feel like I was somebody that somebody would want to listen to sell their house, if that makes sense. And that's something that even like I said, I brought my friend in, and that's something that he's experiencing. We just had a conversation today about tonality and everything, but I didn't feel like I was somebody that people wanted to talk to. I didn't think that I could use my words, my slang, my just anything. But you honestly can. You can really say anything you want. You can say it however you want. You just got to make sure that you say it with conviction and you know what you're talking about. So once you develop that skill set, and once you have a lot of conversations, you'll understand what your conversation style is. You'll understand how you'll keep conversations flowing, the kind of questions you'll ask, things that work in conversations, things that don't. You can't be like I said, I was really in my head because I used to, after every sentence I'd say, "Oh, you feel me, you feel me, you feel me," and that's something that I did calm down a lot. But I was just on the phone with somebody and they said something good about the property. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's dope," and then continue with the conversation and didn't hiccup at all. But you can be yourself on the phones. Just do it with enthusiasm and tonality, and it's sold every time.
Yeah, well, I never even thought about that. I always say the same word. My wife says I say like that drink, like that. So there's certain things that we need to fix, and then if we really want to become the people we are, we almost have to take on this new persona. Forget about the persona, because really we're born at zero, Bryson. You know what I'm saying? We're born at zero. We don't know nothing. And then little by little, by looking at our peers and what's around us, it creates this person that's you know what I mean? You feel me? Or me saying all these words, it creates that person. But really, if we think about it, we can create a new person. We can stop saying that word. I can stop using that word for fillers. My wife said, just kind of slow down, think about what I'm saying, get instead of saying say the cup. You know what I mean? Don't use other words to fill in the words that I actually need to be using.
Right.
So and I need to. I've been, and that's why another reason why I'm doing this podcast without the board and stuff, because I want to do exactly what you just said. I want to practice. I want to conversate more, so I can get better at doing this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we joined this community called the Rhino Tribe, but it's really called Talk to People. And their whole thing, it's a really expensive community. I think it's $5,000 to get in. And their whole thing is you can literally get rich from just talking to people. Talk to people. Just talk to somebody every day. Talk to somebody. The more you talk to somebody, the more comfortable you'll get. You'll start to understand how to maneuver in conversations. I remember when I first started this business, having conversations with people, different wholesalers. Jacob used to always tell me they're winning the conversation. I never knew what winning the conversation was. I kind of got irritated a little bit. I'm like, ain't nobody even competing right now. We're just talking. But what I came to find out is that he really meant you're not using this conversation as efficiently as you can. And by stuttering and by leaving out questions and by just leaving topics undiscussed, you're not pulling as much as you can out of the conversation. Hence, you won't be as prepared for future business endeavors. So when I started to really focus in on, asking follow-up questions and, really focusing on my body language and how to keep conversations rolling and, trying to fix my stuttering problem and filler words and all that, I started to pull more out of conversations and get more information, better deals, better relationships, everything. So.
Yeah, man, that's great advice for me. That's great advice for me because I have to talk to a new person every week, you know,
Right.
and not everyone is as good a speaker as you know what I mean?
Thank you.
So like, and so sometimes I have to like sometimes I can like give the conversation more to the guest, or sometimes I feel like the guest is maybe like lacking a little bit conversation. So
Right.
I got to take more of the conversation. So I still have to learn all that.
Yeah.
And I want to do it organically.
Right.
I want to learn as I go. I want to actually take my time, you know what I mean, and learn all this stuff. What is there like? All right, let's take a little break.
Okay.
And then I want to ask you a few more questions, okay?
For sure.
Let's take a little break.
Yep.
What is that triangle thing called?
Oh,
What
yep.
was
So it's called the self-actualization triangle.
The self-actualization
Yeah, it's hard to say. Self-actualization.
triangle.
Yep, self-actualization.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I remember seeing it like on a board in Jacob's office,
Yeah.
but I really didn't. Jacob was trying to explain it to me one time too, but like sometimes I don't really,
Yep.
I didn't get it.
So, I'm not an expert, but I am a public health professional, and so I do use that a lot when it comes to my kids and the kids that I work with. The self-actualization triangle is basically just a diagram that shows you what level of, I want to make sure I'm saying this right, what level of need you're at, or make sure I'm saying this right. The self-actualization triangle shows you what level you're at when it comes to your needs. So the first level is all about the bases: safety, security, shelter. And the rule of this triangle is you can't really skip to one unless you've conquered the bottom one. So you can't. So the first, and mind you, I don't know all of them, so I'm not gonna be able to spit them all off. But I do know that it starts off with just the foundational needs. So your shelter, your security, and all of that. And if you don't have that, you can't move on to your next set of needs, which is like family and friendships. And then if you don't have that, you can't move on to the next. And then it all ends with you being like, self-actual, or just it ends at self-actualization, where you're, cognitive of, where you're cognitive of, like, you can be the best you can be.
The best version of yourself.
The best version of yourself. You can't get to the best version. That's the perfect way to explain it. So the self-actualization triangle is just a diagram that shows your needs, and it starts off with your foundational needs, and then it ends off at the needs you need to meet in order to be the best version of yourself. And you can't skip levels of the triangle. You have to meet the basis needs before you move on to the next one.
It's because you can't have this without a good foundation.
Right.
Basically, like kind of a house and stuff like that.
Right.
And if you do get there, the foundation starts crumbling, and that's probably why your life starts crumbling away.
And so now you got to go back and double back into what you're not really, because you can definitely, like, you can't truly internally skip those levels in order to feel that. Because say you have friendships and you have family, but you don't have nowhere to go home and sleep. If you're sleeping on the street, how real does that feel to you? Like, how can you really appreciate the family and friends that you have if you don't have that base level? If you're sitting there starving on the street with no dollar in your pocket, you can't even recognize those friends and family as, something that means something. So
you can't even see it.
Right. And even if you do skip that, because there's a lot of people who say, and there's a lot of things that people do when it comes to coping mechanisms, but there's a lot of people who say they have a lot of families and fake brothers and stuff where they really don't. They're just trying, that's just a way for them to kind of cope with the feeling that they have.
Instead of having real family, they try to find family like in the street or at the bar, or have a whole bunch of friends instead of being like the real husband they need to be at home and stuff like that. I see that a lot, like growing up, I've seen a lot of people always trying to be best friends with everybody, but then not being, and me too. Like not only did I see that, man, I was part of that, bro. I am part of that.
If you don't mind, could you tell us a little bit about your story? Because you told me when we first met and I was moved.
Yeah, like I'll tell you one thing about like what I'm saying, what I'm like me myself, I wasn't a good husband. So that's why I didn't get to raise my kids like I really wanted to, like I planned to when I had kids, you know what I mean? So like if you ever do have kids, Bryson, if you ever do have kids, always be the great father, no matter what happens to a relationship. Your relationship between you and the mother, regardless whatever happens to that, you got to have a great relationship with your kids. It doesn't matter if someone says, you know, like, it doesn't matter if the baby mom talks bad about you or you talk bad about her. You got to try to have the best relationship, because at the end of the day, like, my relationship with my kids ain't 100% like I wish it could be, because I think I didn't have a great relationship with the mom. You know what I mean? Like, by me and the mom, like, divorcing and breaking up the family, it doesn't matter what happened after that. Like, that breakup, it broke up like the great relationship that we had. So, like, try to always have a great relationship with your kids. You don't have no kids at all. So if you ever have kids, try to, I mean, unless something crazy happens where you guys have to break up, try to keep that relationship going forever.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely, you know, I didn't come from a 2-parent household, but I definitely believe in having 2 parents in the home. Just period. So, you know, that's something that I don't plan on choosing wisely, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something I don't plan on choosing loosely. That's what I meant to say.
Of course. Choose wisely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't, you know, that's why I'm so interested in developing a personal relationship with Maya right now, and really understanding who she is as a person, what she likes, her passions is everything, so that, you know, one, so that I know what kind of mother she would be to our children, but 2, so that I know what kind of father I'll be to that family. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So you've had good role model, like your parents were together.
Oh no, so yep. So I didn't come from a 2-parent household, but I did come from, you know, a strong mother and a strong older brother, and, you know, them together were able to kind of shape me into the man I am today. And, you know, we did talk briefly about my dad on the last podcast, but the one thing I will say, and I did reach out to him maybe like 2 weeks ago, right after Thanksgiving, or maybe on Thanksgiving, but he took my little brother in, my youngest brother, Steve. He took him in, and, you know, that's something that I didn't really expect him to do. I didn't think that was, I know that Steve has, you know, his own things going on with his mom and all of that, but he took him in, and he's living there. He's 18 years old. He don't ask him to pay for no rent or nothing like that. You know, it's not a lot, but he's trying to put him into position. So I was able to tell him, you know, like, even though I don't feel like you was there for me the way I needed you to be when I was younger, I do commend you for being there for little Steve, because he ain't got nobody. He don't got nobody if it ain't me or him. So it's like, as long as you still doing that, you good in my book. So I did, you know.
Yeah, that's good. You gotta give props too sometimes, because really, we don't know what was going, like, when you were a kid, your dad could have been going through some problems or something. And then, like, me too, like, sometimes I yelled, like, me and my dad have actually gotten into arguments and everything. And he's yelling at me and I yell at him, and I say, well, you weren't there for me. And he's like, well, you don't know what I was going through. Like, I was like, he was like, my dad was like into drugs, and he went to jail and like a lot of things. So I can't, yes, I blame him, but I know that it was like.
Yeah, and he did reply when he said that. He was like, yeah, you know, I love you too, and I just wanted to make sure. He just wanted a chance to, like, you know, explain what happened and all that, you know. But part of me was like, while everybody does have a chance to, you know, explain their side of the story, you know, as a kid, as that boy that needed you, I still just want you to say sorry.
I
just want to hear you, like, like, okay, I get all that, but like, you sorry though, right? Like, that's not what you, like, you changed it if you feel me. That's from my with it. But
what did he ever, has he ever said that to you or anything?
No, like, after the it wasn't like no apology or nothing. I ain't asked for no apology. I just told him that, you know, I ended telling him that I was proud of him for taking in my little brother. So it wasn't like no apology warranted. I just flat out told him, like, I don't think that you were there the way I needed you to be. And so that's the reason why our relationship ain't where it is. However, you creating and sustaining a relationship with my little brother is showing me a different side of you that I am willing to let in. And
you know what's crazy is, like, I always thought that too. Like, my dad, he's told me, he's told me multiple times, I wouldn't change anything for the world. Like he wouldn't change anything like ever. He's fine where he's at. And I'm like, bro, you wouldn't change that you weren't around for me. Right. You wouldn't change that you went to prison your whole life. He's like, no, that's why I am who that I am. And sometimes I'm like, I get irritated, like, what the fuck, like, bro, like, and then he gets mad at me when we get into argument, and I won't pick him up for work. I'll be like, no, you ain't working no more. And then like, cause the thing is, he wants to argue with me, but then we get into like a little. So sometimes I gotta just separate so I can have like a little peace. But for both of us, so we both have chill out moments because we work together all the time. So, but like, it makes me mad that he never just says, you know, I am who I am, but I wouldn't change anything besides like, hey, I wish I would have had a better relationship with my kids.
And, you know, we ain't asking you to live with no regrets or nothing, but you is gonna regret if I just if I cut the relationship off completely, because you know, without trying to sound cocky or anything, I'm a loss. If you ain't willing to sit there and you know, establish, like, the one thing that I used to hate was the phone worked both ways. Boy, I'm a kid. If you don't call my phone, like, I am a child. So, you know, we're working. It's not even weird yet because we haven't had that real conversation. I just took the initiative to really just get past all those, you know, unconscious bias that I have about bro, and really understand that what you're doing right now is commendable. I'll give you your props, and we can try this. Yep, and I did that with my dad too. He helps me cleaning houses and stuff. And one day I said, he's like, you're not proud of nothing I've done. I said, you know what makes me proud? What you're doing right now, coming to work with me every day, helping me out. Just like you said, you're proud of what he's doing for helping your brother and stuff. So like, I'm not proud of who you were before. Of course, what do you want me to do? Say, yay, Dad, you did like something good? Like, no, like, I'm proud of you now, Dad, because like, I keep looking back because usually I'm driving and he's in the back seat, right? So usually he's back there, and I'll be like, I'm proud of you now. You know what I'm saying? Of course I wasn't proud of that. Like, he wants me to be proud of him back in the day, but back in the day, I didn't feel like I had. I'm proud of the man you are now. I'm proud of you came out because he just got out of prison. I put him in his own apartment. I pay his bills, and sometimes he's yelling at me, and I'm like, bro, I pay all your damn bills. What you want me to do? Cut the rent, and then you. But I would never do that. But I get to the point where I'm like, dude, do you really? Because we bump heads about like little stupid, like cleaning, you know, houses. It'd be, you know what houses I'm talking about, like them houses you buy for like $30,000, and it's like the full rehab ones. And I gotta come in and clean them and stuff. I gotta wash them walls, so we get frustrated. You know what I'm saying? He's washing walls, I'm washing walls, and then all of a sudden we start bumping heads, and then we get a little crazy. But you've never had a real sit down conversation about your total feelings with him or nothing? No, and that's something that I'm a little, you know, intimidated to have. Not because you feel me, I feel like, not because I'm intimidated at him at all. It's just like being vulnerable in that space. It's gonna be really different for me because I ain't never showed that kind of emotion towards my father. And if it go wrong, it's gonna be something that's just ain't going. It's gonna be hard to bounce back from that one. So it's been something that I myself has been. But like, as a man, I do understand I gotta have that conversation. Let him have, because I know, like, you know, like I said, my older brother put on for me since I was born. So it's like he has very strong feelings about, and I ain't even trying to air nothing, but like he has very strong feelings about him, and like I'm not even sure he would agree with me trying to, you know, reconvene with him. But at the same time, if Lil Steve didn't have my dad, he wouldn't have had nobody, and that says something to me. And like you said, you can tell a lot about, or matter of fact, like you were talking about, like your dad wanting you to be proud of him, what he was, and how you're proud of him now, just so centered around the whole feeling of pride. I'm a firm believer that you can tell a lot about a man by what he does to make himself feel proud. And me voicing that what my dad did made me proud, I think that's enough to really spark a whole different energy in me. And I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt to let that happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, even though there are like a lot of different I don't want to say excuses, but circumstances in which, you know, you could be separated from your child or whatever. I ain't even gonna say a lot, because it's really just like, I don't see any other than you just saying, I think that what I expect out of that conversation is an apology. I ain't expecting because I wanted to tell him he was proud of, I wanted to tell him I was proud of him and leave it at that. But if we do have that heart to heart, what I expect is an apology, and, you know, let your actions apologize for you after that, because you don't got to bring it up ever again, as long as you making sure Steve's straight. Because that's the reason why, because all before that, it was just kind of like, it wasn't no beef or nothing, like I was just, but it was really just like, it ain't
whatever. Yeah. It's a weird relationship. Like, as a father now, I know that it's an important relationship, but I feel that because I didn't have the right father teaching me how to become a father, that's why I wasn't a good father. And now I feel like I'm paying for it, because like now my kids are 18 and 21. They got their own life. Right. You know, I call them here and there, but it's still like now it's too late. I went to prison for 4 years. I lost a big chunk. When I went to prison, my daughter was like 13. When I got out, she was like 17 with a boyfriend, her own car. Like I lost out a big chunk of years, and I was like, I missed out because I split up with the mom. I was living it up. But if I would have had a right mother, or my mother did a great job. My mother tried everything, but you got to have a father figure or someone, a good role model in your life to teach you, like, listen, like, you know, like once I had my wife and my kids, I should have been more of a family man. What was I doing hanging out with my friends at 22 years old at the clubs? Like, that led to me splitting up with her, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't a good husband. I was out chilling, kicking it with my boys, Jamie T, Mike, Mark, living it up. I wasn't a husband. I wanted a wife and kids, but then I wanted to have fun with my friends too. There was a decision I had to make, but no one ever like really showed me that, like, actions speak louder than the words. There was no action. There was no, you know, man that really showed me that. My stepdad tried, but my cousins tried, my family tried. But if you don't really have it at home from the beginning, you don't see it growing up, you're more easily to give up on that. So on your kid's mom or whatever, because the streets are calling or whatever. What I'm proud of you, that you're young and you're actually taking care of the important things. You're getting your business taken care of. You actually met your girlfriend. You're getting to know her before you jump into a situation where like you gotta take it slow. You gotta make sure you know who the person is. You gotta make sure you're prepared. Just like you said, the foundation, set all that up perfect. Right. And then you have your kids, and then you won't have the problem. See, I did it all backwards. I had the kids. I had the kid, then the marriage, right. Then everything fell apart because I didn't do it right. Right.
No, for sure. And you really can't know what you don't know. Yeah. But, you know, just coming from a child's perspective, if I were to put because, you know, you have a child that's a year younger than me and 2 years older than me. So to put myself into their perspective, if they have any like feelings about the relationship, I don't know if y'all have like a heart to heart, but it's like that boy in them can't really be replaced, because that boy still cries. That boy in them still crying. Like, they want their dad, but they understand that they got him now. But they want you to understand that they still that you really can't forget about that. But they want to at least know that you're sorry. They want to know that you would change things. Like you said, you want your dad. Like, they want to know. Like, you need to actively tell them, like, if you could, like, shit would be different, because that makes sense, bro. You were 22 years old. Like, people tell me every day, like, bro, you're 19 years old. You're like, how? Like, you're working too hard. You think, like, it's just, there's no expectation that anybody should have of a 22-year-old. So when you were just put with all those expectations and everything, you crumbled. And you know, while it's not ideal, that's human. And once they understand that you are human and you really want to make it up, and that at the end of the day, you still love them as their father, and you know, you can't replace lost time, but you can start building new memories, because they're not too old to build new memories. You're not too old to build new memories. Like I think that's really, now that I talk about it more, I think that's what it really boils down to, because like those old memories can't be replaced, but they want to make new memories. They just don't know how to reach out and tell you, because they love their dad.
For real. Yeah, that helps me out, bro, because like sometimes I think like, am I bothering them? But no, I need to become better at that. And it's good to have you on here, because you're 22. You're 22 years old?
19.
19? Damn, so you're my son's age. You're a little bit older than my son. So like I feel like that's perfect. That's good. That's good information. I need to reach out more to them, and I need to maybe do more things with them, but I'm so busy that I put that off. And
that's like I was saying, I'm making a point to, when I say, like earlier in the interview, when I said I'm making a point to connect with my family more, it's not just like, oh yeah, I want to talk to my mom, or I literally wrote it into my schedule. I might be falling a little bit off of time because I put it for 7:00 p.m. to reach out to them. But like I write down each family member that I hold dear to my heart, and just write their names in like a hour slot in my planning each week, just so I can, okay, hey, how you doing? It don't got to be an hour long, but I just check on them and make sure that that's in my planning. That's time blocked. That's them. And that's important. That's more important. That's more important than a meeting that I have with the mayor. So it's like, make sure that's the priority. And once I started focusing on that, but I can see how it can seem like, oh yeah, you're annoying them or whatever, but sometimes they might just feel like, because nobody wants anybody to do anything out of guilt. They don't want to see that, oh, I'm sorry for what I did. They want to see that you wish you could make new, like you could do it over, because you just want it to be different. And once they see that effort, they'll go out of their way to really like entertain that. And even if they think it's lame, even if you take them to do the lamest thing ever, go watch a hot dog eating contest with hot dog hats, they gonna be like, my dad took me out to do that.
Yeah, you know what? Dude, you just got me good, man. Because I've apologized like crazy, but apologies don't shit,
work, bro.
I already said I'm sorry, man. I said I'm sorry so many times. I cried to them. I've told them I wish I was a better dad, but I haven't made any new memories with them.
Yeah, bro, it's memories, man.
Yeah.
But I could see just right now in this interview, the passion that you have, brother. Like it's easy to disregard stuff. It's easy to put stuff off. But you got a passion to make a bond with your kids, and it can't be hidden. And it can only, that energy can't, what they say, energy can't be created or destroyed. This energy ain't come from nowhere. You ain't just created right now in this interview. You've been had it, and it can't be destroyed. The only thing energy can do is be transferred. Just transfer it. And once you truly transfer it, once you really show that you want to make new memory and connect with them, energy literally can be transferred.
And it's like, when I call them, I don't bother them. They answer every fucking time, bro. They answer. I feel like I'm bothering them, but I don't, because they're like, what's up, Dad? How you doing? So they want me to call them. They love when I call them. They talk, but I don't call them enough, because in my mind, I'm like, maybe they're at work. Maybe they're busy. Maybe she's with her boyfriend. Maybe I'll come in, like maybe I'll bother, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll bother them. But every time I call, either they answer or they call me right back or they text me right back. Like, so I don't bother them, I don't think. I think it's just like my own thing.
It's internal, bro. Like you, like I said, nobody wants it to, like you said, you apologize all that time, but that was coming from a sense of guilt. Like you can't feel that for somebody. You can't feel that you're bothering somebody, especially over the phone. Like that's all internal. You were guilty. That's all it was. You were guilty, and you projected that, and they can feel that. They can feel a guilty apology. Like you know, like they can feel guilt, but this isn't guilt right here. This is passion. This is what you're explaining right now is passion. You're passionate about your relationship. You're passionate about creating new memories and standing on that. So I think this can be transferred into something a little bit more because they know that you're sorry. They know that you feel guilty, and it might hurt them to see how guilty you are.
Yeah, it does. They told me, my daughter always tells me, "Don't cry, Dad. It's okay. I know. I understand."
Because you can be forgiven. That's easy. Like you can be easily forgiven, especially the kind of man you are now. It's easy to not forget, but to understand that that's not the kind of person you are no more. But it's not about forgiving. It's just about understanding, and you understand that they just want to build more memories.
Yeah, but I never got this perspective from a young man like you.
Yeah.
Like I've always just thinking about what a 43-year-old thinks, you know.
Right.
But listening coming from you, telling me that the phone works both ways, that hits me like a ton of bricks. Because sometimes I think like, damn, they haven't called me in a long time.
Listen, that was the worst. Like that's a comeback that will stay in my heart forever. Like all of this stuff can be forgiven, all of that, but like when you think about like a grown man telling you as a child that the phone can work both ways, like even though you may want a relationship with your dad, you know as a child you shouldn't be the main one working for it. And if you are, that's gonna make you feel displaced. Like they might feel like they bothering you at a certain point. I know I did for my father, so it's like that's why it's just like even if you question that if there's a relationship, always just make the call. Just call them.
Yeah, because like I always reached out to them when they were little. I got them a phone and I would be calling. They were little. But then like, you know, like after like I started this social media thing, this podcast, started getting really busy, and then it was less calls, but they never call. They never call. I was the one that was calling, keeping up. And then it was like, it started from me making less calls. And then I'm feeling like lonely, like, damn, they don't ever call me. But like, they never called me. Like, I'm over here thinking, my kids never call me, but like, I'm the one that always called them. Why would I expect it to change? Like, why do I?
Especially without without the communication in place to where it's like, because I feel like there is a space within a relationship between a parent and their child to where it's like, because my mom does it too to me. It's like, you know, I love you. I know that you're doing your own thing. You trying to tackle life and everything, but your mom still love you. Come reach out. And she's never like, she's very adamant, but she's never invasive. It's like, you know, your mama love you, come home. Like she might make a couple jokes out of it or whatever. Oh, Bryson don't ever come. But like she always makes sure to remind me like, your mom love you, come home. Like, cause it's easy when you start your new life. Like the hardest part about being young and trying to start my life is that I haven't had any life to even reference before. So it's like, I'm doing all of this stuff and I ain't gonna say there's any doubt in my mind because it's not, but it's still a slim chance, whether that be 0.009%, like there's still a little chance that all this stuff is for nothing and I don't even know it yet. And that's the hardest part about just being a young person going through life is that you're taking on all these new experiences that it's gonna get hard to remember to reach out. It's gonna feel like you in this world by yourself, especially if you starting off, you know, this young and have to figure out all these obstacles. It's gonna be hard. But as long as you keep that conversation, say one day you decide to call, you said you have a daughter, say one day you decide to call your daughter and she's going through a situation right in that moment, like, of course she's not gonna call you, but to see her dad call, especially unannounced, and she's going through a situation, Dad, let me tell you, and maybe you're able to help her, maybe not, but you're able to listen. And that's enough.
Yeah, man, I hope so. I'll be there. I know one thing, if she calls me right now, I would be like, we gotta go. I gotta go save her for anything. My son and my daughter, whatever they need, man, I'm there for them. I'm always gonna be there for them forever. It's just that now that they're getting older, I want to give them their space, but then I think it's just mostly in my head. I need to start building more memories with them. This summer I went on vacation and they couldn't make it. So I was like bummed out, you know, I was like, man, why didn't, but like, I'm gonna just keep going, keep inviting them. And then eventually, you know, build more memories with them. I think I need to do more things like maybe take my daughter out to dinner or by solo, maybe my son out to, you know, go-karting solo.
Those one-on-ones, bro, they mean the world. And that's the easiest way to just get locked in and really understand. where they're at. Like that's the safest place to have those conversations, especially when there's no attention of anybody else and they know it's exclusively for them. And really put the ball in their court. Like let them tell you when they're available and try your hardest to work around it. Because their time is it's really hard for me to schedule anything with my mom or with any of my family members during the week because I'm busy. I'm booked. I got a salary job that I'm working 40 hours and then I come back and do my business. It gets overwhelming. So
So what all did you do for a living? You do that and was the government
So I work
the mayor thing?
So I work for the city of Toledo under the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement as an in-school violence interrupter, and I'm based at Woodward High School. And our job is really just to promote peace and try and break the cycle of violence within the schools. And we're also partnered with the outside team that helps out with any outside conflicts that could spill into the school and vice versa. So we have an open line of communication with them. But the real thing about our program is we have an intensive caseload at each of the schools that we're at of about of as big as about 15 kids that are considered the most at risk, and we're tapping into their families, into them, and pouring into them, trying to just stay connected and connect any resources that they need.
And then you give them knowledge about what you do and stuff like that.
So there's a lot of kids that on my caseload and not on my caseload, just kids at Woodward that I do connect with heavily that understand what I do for a living and how I make my money and how I interact with the community and stuff like that. And that they don't come out right and say like, oh yeah, I look up to that, but everybody's watching the TikTok, everybody's reacting, everybody's tuning in to what's going on because they see like, shoot, he's our age, he's doing what we thought we couldn't do. Even if they don't want to do it, they're intrigued on how, and then even that can just spiral a whole. That's where I catch them. Like, okay, yeah, you want to make? I'll post the check that we made $18,000. Oh, you want to make this and da da da. All right, boom. So free game. This is how you da da da. This is how you change your life. This is personal development. You got to get here before you get here. You got to everything. I want to.
Yeah, because you're 19, right?
Yep.
You're 19, like you said earlier. You just said a little bit ago. You don't really have too much experience to fall back on. Like me, I've already been through 3 different lives. You know what I mean? Right. I had this whole career, then I did this, and then now I got a cleaning business. Now I got a pot. So I got a bunch of stuff to fall back on and be like, well, I remember this and I learned this. I'm not gonna do this again. You're just starting, so you're gonna be learning. These kids that are a little bit younger than you, they're just starting anything. They haven't started nothing. So they're looking at you. So even if you do make a little mistake, maybe if this is not your thing, they're still gonna see you, be able to see, oh, okay, this thing led to, but now even, what you're doing right now, it doesn't have, it could be successful and you could still move to something else.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? You guys could be doing this. You guys get so much money where you guys go to do all this other thing. So they can watch your journey and see you evolve, because on the road to who you become, you might not be exactly who you are right now.
Right.
You might not even.
And I don't plan to be.
No, because by the time you're all said and done, you might not have nothing to do with real estate. Who knows?
No, that's what's crazy. Is I was just thinking I had a really crazy realization the other night where I was just like, I could stop everything I'm doing right now and go be a brain surgeon. And I wouldn't skip a beat. I'm on the same pace as everybody else. So the one thing that I do hold on that I know is my clear advantage is that I can fail forward as much as I want to, and until I start hitting 25, all my failures don't matter. It's all every L I take up until 25, 30 years old is gonna be a lesson, not an L.
It's all a lesson.
That's all it is, and that's what I'm learning. All I'm really doing is trying, develop my skill set, develop my conversation skills, my skills to be able to connect with people, and just develop those skills, and make as many mistakes as possible, and still be in position to win. Because please don't believe that I started all of this and haven't made mistakes. I just made a mistake we just made a mistake on the deal we about to close because we didn't ask the seller about the condition enough, and so we just finding out 2 weeks before closing that it needs to replace all the water lines. That's a mistake. now I know to go back and make sure, okay, is there anything wrong with the water lines this time? Like, I'll never make the mistake again. So it's really just, I'm just trying to develop as a person. This stage right now isn't about the results. The results are showing because you can't hide them. If you put your head down and you're dedicated and you really want something to happen, I can't believe, and this is kind of the mindset that I walk around with. I can't believe that if I give my 100% essence to something, it won't work. I can't believe that. So I forgot where I was going with that.
No, but I believe the same thing. Yeah. I preach that, like, if you find one thing, like you're wholesaling and you put 100% effort into wholesaling, you will not fail on that. And then that right there, once you master that, you can find the next thing that wholesaling takes you. Right. Then all of a sudden you have all these houses where you're a landlord, and then all of a sudden you get a good deal in a commercial building. Yep. Now you're selling commercial real estate. Yeah, man.
It's all about getting your foot in the door, man. And that goes with any skill. So like my little brother Avery, he's a photographer. I'm watching him start his own photography business, AV photography, and he didn't start he didn't start off shooting music videos and not like he literally just went to a couple games and took some pictures. And one thing I preach to him is that you just got to get your foot in the door, and that's when talking to people will get you rich. Because once you get your foot in the door, it's all about who you talk to. Because I feel like networking is kind of misunderstood. It's not really about who you know, it's about what you know about who you know.
Hold on. It's not about who you know, it's about what you know about who you know.
Yep.
Okay.
You follow?
Yeah. So it's not just the person, you got to know a little bit about them.
Yeah, you got to know a little about them. And the only way that you uncover that is through conversation, through talking to people. And so once you get in there, so say you want to start off as a lead chef somewhere, and your main product is something that got to do with peanuts. And this is I was listening to 50 Cent, so this is where I'm getting this from. Okay. But say it got to do with peanuts, and you don't know how to get into it. You got this dream to be the biggest peanut producer in the world, but you stuck right now. You stagnant. All you got to do is get your foot in the door and learn how to talk to people. So you go over there, boom, you sit on it. Say you see a homeless man on the block selling peanuts. Pitch your tent right next to him. You do you a little something, put some chocolate covered peanuts, strawberry covered peanuts, bring some attention. Now you got people coming to your peanut shop. And so now through conversations you have with customers, through people walking by, through the conversation you have with the homeless person, where did you get your peanuts from? You'll just start to uncover more opportunity, more situations. And then one thing that people always fail to realize is that, and I say this in my TikTok, is that problems are just tokens to different opportunities. And so when people are just pushing away their problems to somebody else all the time, they're not doing anything but just giving away all their different possible opportunities that they have. Because once you solve a problem, you have a gem that now it's just like, oh, I was down here, now I have a gem that I can give to somebody else, or I can retain, or I have something that's a solution. So
yeah, that's pretty smart. I heard your TikTok saying that. I can't remember exactly how you worded it, but it was like that. Like you're giving your problems away, you're giving your blessings away.
Absolutely.
I remember you saying that.
Right.
Every time you give your problems away to somebody else, you're actually giving away your blessings, because you were supposed to learn something there.
Now somebody else learned.
And now somebody else has learned.
Now they have a leg up on you.
I remember that TikTok. You was sitting at your office. You was on the window.
Yep.
I remember that. And I was like, damn, that was a good one. Because it's true. Because if you just pass the buck, all of a sudden you don't know, you didn't learn all this stuff that you were supposed to. God sent that to you. God, you know what? I heard a podcast today, Ed Reed.
Ed Reed from the Ravens?
Yeah, for the Ravens. He was on a podcast and he said that he had lost his brother and he thought it was devastating, right? He lost his brother. It was like during the season. He said a few years, like 2 or 3 years later, Torrey Smith, he was a wide receiver for the Ravens, and he lost his brother. And he walked out in the hallway and he seen Tori crying. And he's like, what's up? He's like, man, I just lost my brother. He said he had enough knowledge in him. So he was like consulting him. And he's like, man, that taught me that our problems come to us as blessings so when someone else has that same problem, we can, consult them with that. And it was almost the same thing, but it was just like,
sure. And I seen something where they were just like, I think it was Will Smith. He was just like, the one thing that he does every day of his life is read, because there's never been a problem that somebody hasn't wrote about before.
Yeah.
And so the more that you read is just the more that you're able to pull these nuggets from people. And the way that Jake explains it is stealing other people's 10,000 hours. So he says that it takes somebody 10,000 hours to become a professional at it.
Yeah.
And that's why people pay so much money to be part of these VIP conferences and be part of this network of all these experts, because all they're doing is paying all that money so that they can steal their 10,000 hours. Because if you had 10,000 hours left on this earth, or $10 million, and you can get the rest of your life back, what you gonna choose?
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I never thought of it like that either. That's dope. Hey, so like the other day I listened to Elon Musk's book. Okay. It was 21 hours long.
Sheesh.
And I listened to the whole thing within like 3 days. Not the other, it was like a 3 days.
3 days, that's crazy.
Yeah, because I was like, I worked for 8 hours. I just put it on and just listen. And then I got all Elon's whole 10,000. He probably has 10 million hours.
Oh, bro. He done created a time machine and grabbed 10 trillion out of somewhere.
That dude, he went through some stuff. But I never thought of it like that. I basically stole Elon Musk's 10,000 hours because I was into it too. It kind of taught me. And I've read a lot of books when I was locked up. I was in jail. Yeah. And I read a lot of books. I never read books at all. I used to be the one that was like, man, I don't want to read. Right. The teacher would be like, you read. I'd be like, I'd read a couple sentences and I wouldn't read. But when I got locked up, before I got locked up, I Googled 100 books every man should read before he dies. And then I took that list and I kind of circled the ones that looked interesting, like, Poor Man, Rich Man, How to Gain 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the ones that everyone reads. Yep. Circled them, gave them to my mom, my sisters when I was locked up, and I said, send me these as I asked for books. And I read self-help books, lots of them when I was locked up, biographies like Jerome Bettis, Deion Sanders, Kevin Hart, like a lot of different biographies and then they had a library, and I would read like books, how to start a cleaning business, how to start a restaurant. Like I would be interested because I was like, I'm not gonna waste these 4 years, 3.5 years locked up and not learn anything. Because when I walked in there, bro, I seen people shooting dice, playing cards. It wasn't that many people in the library. It wasn't that many people reading. Everybody's like watching the game, gambling, chilling. Sometimes they would come and say, hey, Smith, time to go. Smith would get off the poker table, grab his stuff and go. Smith did 10 years, bro, gambling. Smith didn't learn nothing. So I was like, I'm not going to be Smith.
And don't be Smith.
Like, I'm going to take these 3 years and I'm going to learn how to read better. I'm going to learn how to work out. I worked out the whole time. I came up with a routine. I became a better person. I ended up becoming the leadership of the prison. Like they had it wasn't gangs, but it was like representatives, so things can run smoothly. I ended up being in the leadership, and I never wanted to. They said to me, the leader said that I was good enough to be in it, and then they voted me to be in it. So it wasn't my decision. I just had no choice because they seen who I was. I didn't know anything about any of that shit. I became who I am. I didn't even know that men could do everything. Like I told you, I never had a dad. I never knew men could do what men can do, bro. When you're in prison, men take care of everything. They clean all the cells. They scrub. Not everyone. There's, lazy guys here. There's but they all go work out. Like the 99% of them all wake up early. They all go work out. They all go to work. They all take a shower. They all put lotion all over their bodies. They brush their teeth 3 times a day. They all clean cut. Like, not every single one of them, but like I said, the majority of them, they show you that. I used to be there and be like, holy shit. Oh, this is what real men do. Because I would get like inspiration about how, like my first 3 months, I was just looking around. Then I started, figuring out my routine, where these guys work out, where my group works out. Then I started going to work out with them and coming up with the way that I'm going to start living. And I like learning, like after lunch, they would all come and brush their teeth. I never did that before. Like I used to just brush my teeth in the morning, brush my teeth at night.
Right.
They were more like when it was time to clean, they would be picking up everything off the ground. Everybody, come on, pick everything off the ground. They would all work together. We'd get buckets out. We would scrub. If we wanted a new TV, we all worked together. The different races, the blacks, the whites, the Mexicans, all of us would work together to get the prison to get us a new TV because the TV broke, or because we wanted this. Dude, when something was going wrong, we would all hunger strike and we would get whatever we wanted. And we would all unite, different races, everything. Hey, tomorrow, if they don't let us out in the yard anymore, because sometimes they would like restrict the yard, for whatever, for some, just because they wanted to, they would say no more yard for a week. We would say, okay, then we're not gonna eat. Everybody in the whole prison not eating. Once you don't eat, men get so dangerous. Starving, hungry men are more dangerous than anything in the world. They could break out of that prison if they wanted to, so they don't let that happen, because there's 1,600 prisoners and there's only like 7 guards.
Jeez, yeah.
There's only there's like a big pod and there's 2 guards, big pod, 2 guard, so there could be a takeover. So what they want to do is real quick solve the problem. So the next day they come, they open the yards, they give everybody their food. I never knew that. I'm like, damn.
That's interesting.
We're very powerful.
Absolutely.
We're very powerful, but we don't see it like that. Even like the numbers that we have, like we think the government runs everything. There's way more people than the government. If they really wanted to, nobody's talking about doing that, but I'm saying, like, if you really look at it, bro, we need to learn. Like me as a man, I learned so much in prison. I don't think anybody has to go to prison to learn this. Right. I just think we need to like become the best version of ourselves. Like you said, start with the foundation, right. Become the best version of ourselves little by little. And I did it all backwards when I was younger. And now I'm learning how to do it the right way. So now I'm trying to, if anyone that watches this podcast is trying to like learn a little bit, I'm trying to give through me and through you guys, the guests, try to put some knowledge out there. Yeah. Also, another thing I wanted to ask you about, I remember you do volunteer work. You still doing your volunteer work and stuff?
Yeah, it's still every Sunday.
Every single Sunday?
Yep, every Sunday at 11. We were at Madison, Uptown Madison, Market on the Green, the park over there, but we like shifted just around the corner where we're able to utilize this storage unit that keeps us a little warm during the winter.
Oh, okay, like more like a shed.
Yeah, yep. So, it's every Sunday.
Every Sunday, it's like a food drive thing you do.
Yes, sir. It's a food drive, and they do clothes and stuff up there, shoes, backpacks and stuff, and different community partners come out there. Like I know Zeph, the Zeph Center that I used to work at, they come out there every Sunday, and they just represent any kids that are homeless or runaways in Toledo. So that's a safe place for if that's something that you experiencing.
Yeah. All right, man. So is there anything else that you wanted to bring up? Anything you wanted to share?
Not too much. Like I said, I'm still new to this. It's been about a year, but I'm still learning. I'm still on my learning curve. But the one thing is that, I specialize in adding value to situations. So if there is a situation, a distress situation in which you want to sell your property, whether it's, the property itself is distressed or the situation itself is distressed, I'd love the chance to earn your business and be able to connect with you and understand your situation in entirety and see if we can connect you with a solution. So.
And if you're a motivated buyer, they can.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're looking to find some deals that can make you some money, we're only specializing in win-win deals. So if you're a buyer, and whether you have 100 properties in your portfolio, or this is the first investment that you're looking for, and you only want to put up 40,000, then reach out, because we have an active inventory, and it's updating weekly, so we'll have something.
And if any JVs are out there, right?
Yep.
They know somebody that knows a lot of properties or anything.
Yeah, man. So like I said, if you're people come to me all the time asking, how do I get started? What do I do? You know, one thing's first, I can't teach you the whole wholesaling, because it's really simple. It's just really, you have to be consistent. But if you learn how to wholesale, if you learn how to have conversations, talk to people, and get something under contract, and you're scared that you don't have the buyers necessary to get it going, reach out to me, because like I said, we add value. So if that's the situation that you're in, I want to see if we can help. And like I said, in any transaction we do, is win-win. So I feel like everybody can eat in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, sir. All right, Bryson, thank you so much for coming to the podcast and giving us all this free game, man. I really appreciate it, yes, and I'm very proud of you, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yep. Thank you, brother. See you guys next week on Big Yogi'Z Garage.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Yes,
Make sure you subscribe.